Laverne and Shirley, the beloved sitcom where humor, friendship, and dreams came alive. Yet behind the laughter and the joyous adventures of its iconic cast lay real-life stories steeped in tragedy and resilience. From untimely losses to silent battles waged away from the spotlight, their lives reveal the fleeting nature of fame and the hidden struggles that often accompany it. Amid the heartbreak and pain, their enduring legacy serves as a powerful testament to the lasting impact of their artistry, a reminder that even in darkness, the light of their contributions continues to shine in the hearts of fans everywhere. Norman Bartold, 1928–1994. As Mr. Hildebrand in Laverne and Shirley, Norman Bartold brought a calm authority to his recurring role, adding a touch of sophistication to the chaotic energy of the show. Born in the bustling city of Berkeley, California, Bartold initially sought a career in engineering before discovering his passion for acting. His character on the show, a stern yet oddly charming figure, reflected Bartold's own ability to balance seriousness with subtle humor. Outside of acting, he struggled with the inconsistent nature of Hollywood, never fully attaining leading man status. His life was punctuated by professional highs and personal lows, including a deeply unhappy marriage that ended in a bitter divorce. Tragically, Bartold passed away in 1994 from cancer, leaving behind a legacy of work often overlooked but deeply appreciated by loyal fans. He died quietly in his sleep, alone in his Los Angeles home, an ending that mirrored his understated yet impactful career. Penny Marshall, 1943–2018. Penny Marshall will forever be remembered as Laverne DeFazio, the quick-witted, sassy, and resilient half of the iconic duo in Laverne and Shirley. Born in the Bronx, New York, in 1943, she came from a family of performers and quickly carved her path in television. Her portrayal of Laverne combined humor and pathos, giving the show its emotional core. Off-screen, Marshall was a pioneer behind the camera, becoming one of the most successful female directors in Hollywood with hits like Big and A League of Their Own. Yet, her personal life was marked by turbulence, 2 divorces, including one from director Rob Reiner, and battles with depression. Despite her successes, she often expressed feelings of inadequacy, grappling with the pressures of fame and the shadow of her larger-than-life persona. Penny Marshall passed away in 2018 due to complications from diabetes and heart disease. Her death marked the end of an era, leaving fans and colleagues alike to mourn a woman who broke barriers while staying true to her working-class roots. Jack Perkins, 1921–1998. Jack Perkins made a modest yet memorable contribution to Laverne and Shirley as a bartender who served more than just drinks. He often provided a touch of comic relief and wisdom from behind the counter. Born in Medford, Massachusetts, in 1921, Perkins spent much of his life as a character actor, appearing in numerous TV shows and films without ever becoming a household name. His career was one of persistence, a reflection of the everyman roles he so often portrayed. Off-screen, Perkins was known to struggle with feelings of invisibility in an industry that prioritized stardom, which took a toll on his personal life. He endured an unhappy marriage that ended in separation, followed by a period of isolation. Perkins passed away in 1998 from heart failure, dying alone in a modest home in Van Nuys, California. Despite his struggles, he remains cherished by fans who recognized the depth he brought to even the smallest roles. Cindy Williams, 1947–2023. As Shirley Feeney in Laverne and Shirley, Cindy Williams embodied the optimistic and slightly neurotic foil to Laverne's brashness. Born in Van Nuys, California, in 1947, Williams initially pursued a career in theater before transitioning to film and television. Her effervescent charm and comedic timing made her a beloved figure, with Shirley becoming a symbol of hope and determination for viewers. Off-screen, Williams experienced significant success but struggled with maintaining balance in her personal life. Her marriage to musician Bill Hudson ended in divorce amid allegations of infidelity and irreconcilable differences, leaving her to raise their 2 children in the public eye. Despite these hardships, she continued to act, finding solace in smaller, meaningful roles later in life. Williams passed away in 2023 after a brief illness, surrounded by her family. Her passing marked the end of an era for fans who adored her as Shirley Feeney, a character whose warmth and humor mirrored much of Williams' true essence. Richard Stahl, 1932–2006. Richard Stahl appeared in Laverne and Shirley as a clerk, one of those unassuming, everyday characters who often added a touch of realism and humor to the show's whimsical world. Born in Detroit, Michigan, in 1932, Stahl's career spanned decades, with a focus on television and character roles that showcased his knack for comedic timing and subtle wit. Despite his professional success, his personal life was not without hardship. Though married to actress Catherine Ish, his life was marked by a quiet sadness, as he often struggled with the pressures of balancing his career and family. In his later years, Stahl was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, a cruel condition that progressively robbed him of his ability to perform. He passed away in 2006, succumbing to the disease after years of battling its debilitating effects. His passing left behind a legacy of small but impactful performances that continue to resonate with fans of classic television. David L. Lander, 1947–2020. David L. Lander, as Andrew Squiggy Squigman, brought an unforgettable mix of absurdity and heart to Laverne and Shirley. Squiggy, with his nasally voice and shameless antics, became one of the show's most beloved characters, providing constant laughs alongside his counterpart, Lenny. Born in Brooklyn, New York, in 1947, Lander discovered his comedic talents early, eventually partnering with Michael McKean in their iconic Lenny and Squiggy act. Behind the scenes, however, Lander's life was far from idyllic. Diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in 1984, he kept his illness a secret for many years, fearing it would ruin his career. His marriage to Kathy Fields, though enduring, was strained by the challenges of his illness and the toll it took on their family. Despite his declining health, Lander remained an advocate for MS awareness and continued to work whenever possible. He passed away in 2020 from complications related to MS, leaving behind a legacy of laughter and an inspiring story of resilience in the face of adversity. Charles Thomas Murphy, 1941–2006. Charles Thomas Murphy brought a mix of wit and sophistication to his recurring role as Dr. Gentry in Laverne and Shirley, a character who frequently found himself bemused by the show's zany antics. Born in Arkansas in 1941, Murphy's path to acting was a winding one, involving years spent as a teacher before he found his calling on stage and screen. His career never reached stardom, but his roles, like that of Dr. Gentry, showed his ability to bring gravitas to even light-hearted material. Off-screen, Murphy was a man of contradictions, warm and approachable with colleagues, yet deeply private about his personal life. His romantic relationships were fraught with miscommunication and disappointment, leaving him to live much of his later life alone. Tragically, Murphy passed away in 2006 from complications of heart disease. He died in relative obscurity, but his contributions to the golden era of television remain a quiet testament to his talent. Eddie Mekka, 1952–2021. Eddie Mekka lit up the screen as Carmine, the big Ragusa, the lovable aspiring singer and dancer on Laverne and Shirley. Born in Worcester, Massachusetts, in 1952, Mekka was a gifted performer who blended charisma and athleticism into his roles, winning fans over with Carmine's charm and show-stopping musical numbers. Though the character's unwavering devotion to Shirley made audiences swoon, Mekka's personal life was far more tumultuous. His first marriage ended in divorce amid struggles with substance abuse and career instability. Mekka worked steadily in theater and television after Laverne and Shirley ended but never recaptured the widespread fame of his Ragu days. In his later years, he moved back to the East Coast, performing in regional theater and reconnecting with his love for live audiences. He passed away in 2021 at his home in California due to complications from heart disease. Fans mourned the loss of a performer whose warmth and joy had left an indelible mark on their lives. Larry Breeding, 1946–1982. Larry Breeding played Hank in Laverne and Shirley, a character whose brief appearances showcased his natural charm and comedic instincts. Born in Jacksonville, Florida, in 1946, Breeding was a rising star in Hollywood, known for his quick wit and boyish good looks. He began his career in stand-up comedy, earning a reputation for his relatable humor before transitioning into television. Despite his talent, his career was cut tragically short. Breeding struggled with the pressures of fame and a series of failed relationships, including a tumultuous engagement that ended shortly before his death. In 1982, Breeding was killed in a car accident in Los Angeles at the age of 36, a shocking loss that robbed Hollywood of an actor just beginning to reach his potential. His untimely death left a haunting, what could have been, sentiment among his fans and peers. Phil Foster, 1913 to 1985. Phil Foster was unforgettable as Frank DeFazio, Laverne's doting and gruff father on Laverne and Shirley. Born Fievel Feldman in Brooklyn, New York, in 1913, Foster's journey from stand-up comedy to sitcom stardom embodied the American dream. His portrayal of Frank brought authenticity and humor, making him a fan favorite. Off-screen, Foster's life was as colorful as his characters, though not without hardship. He dealt with personal demons, including a gambling problem and a stormy marriage that was reportedly marred by frequent arguments. In his later years, Foster's health declined due to heart disease. He passed away in 1985 from a heart attack at his home in Rancho Mirage, California. His death marked the end of a prolific career, but his legacy as Frank DeFazio continues to warm the hearts of fans who remember him as the grumpy yet lovable father figure. Byron Webster, 1931 to 1991. Byron Webster portrayed Mr. Slotnick in Laverne and Shirley, a small but memorable role that reflected his ability to breathe life into eccentric and often comically aloof characters. Born in London, England, in 1931, Webster was classically trained in theatre, a discipline that informed his measured performances on both stage and screen. Despite his professional accomplishments, his personal life was marked by a profound loneliness. Never married and fiercely private, he devoted himself to his craft but often spoke of a deep yearning for a family he never had. His career, while steady, remained largely in supporting roles, leaving him with a sense of being overshadowed in an industry he loved. Webster passed away in 1991 due to complications from a long battle with cancer, dying quietly in his adopted home of California. His contributions, understated but impactful, are fondly remembered by those who worked with him and fans of his performances. Betty Garrett, 1919 to 2011. Betty Garrett stole hearts as Edna Babish, the vivacious and caring landlady on Laverne and Shirley. Born in St. Joseph, Missouri, in 1919, Garrett's career began in musical theater before transitioning to film and television. Her warmth and comedic talent made Edna an essential part of the show, especially in her touching relationship with Phil Foster's Frank DeFazio. However, Garrett's personal life was not without its shadows. Married to actor Larry Parks, their lives were upended during the Red Scare of the 1950s when Parks was blacklisted due to alleged communist ties. This period strained their marriage and derailed both their careers for years. Despite these struggles, Garrett persevered, returning triumphantly to acting in the 1970s. She lived to the remarkable age of 91 but passed away in 2011 from an aortic aneurysm. Her legacy as a performer and survivor of Hollywood's darkest era endures, remembered for her resilience and radiant talent. Helen Page Camp, 1930 to 1991. Helen Page Camp brought a touch of matronly warmth and comedic timing to her role as Mrs. Havenworst in Laverne and Shirley. Born in Washington, D.C., in 1930, Camp enjoyed a career that spanned decades, often cast in supporting roles where her versatility shone. Though widely respected among her peers, she never quite attained mainstream recognition, a fact that quietly frustrated her. Off-screen, Camp's personal life was marked by turbulence. After 2 short-lived marriages, she withdrew from romantic relationships entirely, focusing on her craft. In her later years, Camp struggled with declining health and financial difficulties, which added to her feelings of isolation. She passed away in 1991 from a heart attack, leaving behind a body of work that, while often overlooked, continues to delight audiences who appreciate her understated brilliance. Billy Sands, 1911 to 1984. Billy Sands appeared in Laverne and Shirley as Holmes, showcasing his knack for comedic roles that always left audiences smiling. Born in Bergen, New York, in 1911, Sands was best known for his work in television comedies, particularly as Private Dino Paparelli in The Phil Silvers Show. His career spanned decades, and he became a beloved character actor whose face was instantly recognizable, even if his name wasn't. Despite his professional successes, Sands' personal life was far less idyllic. He endured a rocky marriage that ended in divorce, citing the demands of his career as a source of constant tension. Later in life, Sands dealt with health issues but continued to work, his dedication to acting unwavering. He passed away in 1984 from lung cancer, a quiet end for a man whose performances had brought laughter to so many. Sands remains a cherished figure for those who valued the golden age of television comedy. And Ramsey, 1929 to 1988. And Ramsey brought a darkly comedic energy to her role as Killer in Laverne and Shirley, showcasing her unique ability to make even villainous characters strangely endearing. Born in Omaha, Nebraska, in 1929, Ramsey came to acting later in life after a privileged upbringing and a brief stint in social work. Her career exploded in the 1980s, culminating in her Oscar-nominated performance as Mama Fratelli in The Goonies. While she enjoyed critical acclaim, Ramsey's personal life was marked by challenges, including a difficult marriage to actor Logan Ramsey, whose career overshadowed hers for many years. Tragically, and battled throat cancer during her rise to stardom, undergoing surgery that permanently altered her voice and left her in frail health. She passed away in 1988 from esophageal cancer, just as she was cementing her place as a beloved character actress. Her legacy endures through her unforgettable performances and her defiant spirit in the face of illness. Fred Willard, 1933 to 2020. Fred Willard's portrayal of Charles in Laverne and Shirley hinted at the improvisational brilliance that would define his career. Born in Cleveland, Ohio, in 1933, Willard's early days in sketch comedy and theater laid the foundation for his unique brand of humor, which often blurred the line between sincerity and absurdity. Though his appearances on the show were brief, they showcased his ability to elevate even minor characters into scene-stealing moments. Willard's career spanned decades, with memorable roles in mockumentaries like Best in Show and This Is Spinal Tap. Despite his professional success, his personal life was not without heartbreak. His long marriage to Mary Lovell was marked by periods of separation and reconciliation. In his later years, Willard faced legal troubles and public scrutiny, which contrasted sharply with his genial public persona. He passed away in 2020 at the age of 86 from natural causes, his death marking the end of a comedic era. Fans and colleagues celebrated his life as one of humor, humility, and a rare gift for finding laughter in the everyday. Scatman Crothers, 1910 to 1986. Scatman Crothers, known for his warm voice and presence, brought his talent to Laverne and Shirley in the role of Porter, a quirky and lovable character who added his own unique flair to the show. Born in Terre Haute, Indiana, in 1910, Crothers' career spanned various entertainment fields, from jazz to acting. He had a long history in Hollywood, with memorable roles in films like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and The Shining, as well as voicing the beloved character of Hong Kong Phooey in the animated series. His success, however, came with personal struggles. Crothers faced the racial prejudices of Hollywood for much of his career, often being typecast in supporting roles. His romantic life was marked by a deep commitment to his wife, who remained by his side throughout their long marriage, even as he faced the health problems that would later take his life. In 1986, Crothers died of lung cancer, a tragic end for a man whose legacy brought so much joy to audiences through his performances and distinctive voice. Charles Pierce, 1926 to 1999. Charles Pierce, best known for his role as MacGuffin on Laverne and Shirley, was born in 1938 in Massachusetts. His career was rooted in comedy and improvisation, which made his portrayal of MacGuffin memorable in the few episodes he appeared. Pierce had a long and diverse career, which included writing, directing, and performing in the campy genre of drag theater in the 1970s. Though Pierce was celebrated for his wit and humor, his personal life was marred by struggles. His first marriage ended in divorce, and his later relationships were often tumultuous, reflecting his difficulty in balancing the demands of his career and personal happiness. Pierce's health began to decline in the 1990s, and in 1999, he passed away from cancer at the age of 73. His death was a sorrowful moment for the theater community, which lost a talented performer and director whose unique approach to comedy and drama had left a lasting imprint on the entertainment world. Mary Treen, 1907 to 1989. Mary Treen played Nana Schatz, Laverne's grandmother, in an episode of Laverne and Shirley. Born in St. Louis, Missouri, in 1907, Treen had a prolific career that spanned both film and television. A familiar face in Hollywood, she appeared in numerous comedies and dramas, often playing sweet, motherly types, which suited her warm, nurturing persona. Despite her success on screen, Treen's life behind the scenes was filled with personal hardships. Her first marriage ended in divorce, and she found herself struggling with loneliness in her later years. Still, she continued working well into her older age, often playing supportive matronly roles that earned her affection from audiences. Treen passed away in 1989 at the age of 81, her death attributed to natural causes. She left behind a career that spanned over 5 decades, endearing herself to viewers as the comforting, maternal figure in many beloved films and TV shows. Roger C. Carmel, 1932–1986. Roger C. Carmel, who appeared as a waiter in Laverne and Shirley, was born in New York City in 1932. Carmel's deep, resonant voice and theatrical presence made him a sought-after character actor, and his most notable roles included playing Harry Mudd in Star Trek and a variety of other TV roles throughout the 1960s and 1970s. His ability to add gravitas to even the most minor roles made him a staple in the television industry. However, his personal life was troubled by substance abuse, which affected both his career and relationships. Despite being talented and well-liked, Carmel's struggle with alcohol led to several professional setbacks. His marriage, which had been marred by his drinking, ended in divorce. After years of battling addiction, Carmel's health began to deteriorate. In 1986, he passed away from emphysema, a tragic end to a career that had promised even more success. His death, though not widely publicized, marked the loss of an actor whose versatile performances had left an indelible mark on audiences, particularly those who loved the quirky side of television. How do you feel about the passing of the actors from Laverne and Shirley? Which one do you miss the most? Their unforgettable performances and the laughter they brought into our lives still echo in our hearts. The legacy of these beloved stars will forever be etched in television history, but it's their humanity and resilience behind the scenes that truly makes us reflect on their lives. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications, so you never miss out on the latest videos we have in store for you. Let's keep their memories alive together.